Dodgers legends Obi and Kashi furious over Tanner Scott's high-profile blunder, revealing internal team turmoil. Shohei Ohtani's unpleasant thanks to glass now becomes a national topic of conversation. Just before the start of an MLB game, the Dodgers received shocking news. Tyler Glasnow, who was originally scheduled to start, was forced to withdraw from the game due to back tightness. Upon hearing the news, Shohei Ohtani was suddenly entrusted with the mound. Despite the sudden decision, which was made only 5 hours before the game, he answered without hesitation, "I can go," and took the mound with the team's expectations fully in mind. Ohtani showed off his incredible pitching from the beginning. He threw around 70 yards per hour, allowing only 3 hits and 1 throw, striking out 5 batters and holding the Orioles' batting line scoreless. His average fastball was 99.7 meters per second, or approximately 160.5 kilometers per hour, significantly higher than the average for this season, and his fastest pitch reached 101.5 meters per second, or approximately 163.3 kilometers per hour. Even after crying, he was still able to throw at a speed rarely seen before, and he exuded a force that was hard to believe came from a body that had just woken up. The spectators gave him a standing ovation that was unbelievable in enemy territory, and everyone was left breathless by his spirit. However, the game ended cruelly. With the score tied in the bottom of the 9th inning, the Dodgers sent Tanner Scott to the mound. However, with the team easily scoring 2 runs and just 1 step away from sending the game into extra innings, Scott threw a fastball that was too soft. The young Orioles batter at bat caught the ball perfectly and hit a farewell home run that disappeared into right field. With the stadium shaking, the Dodgers players stood there in shock, and Ohtani's answer was instantly erased. As if at the mercy of fate, the Dodgers, on the verge of victory, were about to succumb to defeat like sand slipping through their fingertips. Ohtani's power was certainly brilliant, but even that was not enough to save the team. It was truly a night of hope and despair, and for the Dodger, it will go down in history as a black mark on the team. After the game, Dodger legend Clayton Carr appeared in an interview with the Sportsnets, expressing his uncontrollable anger. His first outing was shocking. "We lost again. The order in which Trinity, Kapesh, and Scott were used was completely wrong. Yesterday, they fought as if they had given up on defeat, and today, the pitching was completely incomprehensible." The criticism of the starting pitcher, who has been with the team for many years, was sharp. It carried the weight that only a veteran can have. Carr was even more specific. If Trinity had been sent to pitch in the 9th inning and he had been hit, it would have been understandable. However, sending Scott out at this point was too risky. He himself said after the last game that he didn't understand why he was getting hit so much. He wanted someone to tell him. That was proof of his mental instability. It was foolish to entrust the 9th inning, which is the deciding factor in the game, to a player like that. His words condemned the management's judgment like a sword. And the Carr Award even came up with a rough idea. Kapesh has been pitching consistently since returning from injury. He might be worth a shot as the 8th inning or closer. Once he gets back to his best form, he should be given the 9th inning. But Scott doesn't deserve that right now, he said, clearly urging management to make changes. After the game, legendary left-hander Sun Fax gave an interview to ESPN and made some shocking comments. He spoke calmly but with weight. There was fear on Scott's face. "The moment I saw it on the big screen in the stadium, I knew the team was going to lose." Those words were so cold that they froze the hearts of current players and fans. Furthermore, Sunfax pointed out the essential qualities required of a pitcher. At first, he may make technical mistakes. But what he must never lose is his spirit and strength. Hanging up his Dodgers uniform means more than just throwing a ball. There is tradition and pride in it, and the weight of Amada's teammates who fought in the past. If you can't take responsibility for that, you have no right to be on the field. On the other hand, Takafax had a profound explanation for Shohei Ohtani. Despite being told he would be pitching just a few hours before the game, he showed a relaxed composure. Throwing over 100 miles per hour is not just speed, it is a strong statement of intent that as long as he is there, he will not let this team be defeated. His words were filled with the gaze and pride that only a man who achieved a perfect game during his playing days could have. For the Dodgers, the only bright spot that day was Freddie Freeman's swing. In the sixth inning, when the game was at a standstill and the atmosphere was heavy, he hit a solo home run that resounded with an opener and went deep into the stands. The score was tied in an instant, and the cheers of the few remaining Dodger fans in Baltimore, the home ground of the opposing team, echoed. At that moment, a ray of hope shone on the faces of the players on the bench. However, it was only a very short-lived hope. Other than Freeman, the other batters were unable to perform to their full potential and failed to capitalize on their best chance. Even though they put out a full bat, the Imperial family fell, and they were unable to shake up the opposing team's batsmen, and the offense ended in a halt. Overall, the batting lineup was flat, and apart from Freeman's home run, they showed no real impact. Even so, the media did not focus on Shohei Ohtani. Despite only getting 4 hits at bat, his attitude of pitching with all his heart on the mound after being suddenly asked to pitch was praised. Normally, the American media would have been held responsible, but considering the pressure he was under, they could not blame him for his questionable batting. Rather, they reported that it was intimidating that he could pitch so well after getting out of bed, and rather than criticizing him, they were met with mild praise. In the end, Freeman's home run ended up being a shining moment and did not provide the power to save the entire team. Nevertheless, what this game tells us is the reality of who stood up to the pressure and who collapsed, beyond winning or losing. Freeman and Ohtani became the few symbols of hope for the Dodgers, who were on the brink of collapse. After the game, Tyler Glasnow appeared at a press conference and first calmly explained his own condition. There was certainly a sting in his back, but it wasn't serious. He said he had just felt a slight discomfort during the trip and should be able to recover in a few days, easing the concerns of fans and team members. There was a look of relief on his face, emphasizing that a long-term absence was unlikely. He then went on to express his gratitude to Shohei Ohtani, who had suddenly accepted the starting role that day. "I was supposed to be on the mound. But Shohei took his place, and he contacted me a few hours beforehand, and I knew everything. It was incredible that he was able to hold the opposition scoreless for 3 2/3 innings despite being fresh from a workout. It's no wonder he didn't produce results in batting. Anyone can lose their rhythm if their preparations are disrupted." But he emphasized that it was truly incredible that he showed such concentration while pitching. Glasnow then went beyond his position and repeated his message to his colleagues. He values routine more than anything. Even the Kerr Trophy and Scherzer have said that it's difficult to maintain form when schedules are disrupted. Even so, Shohei fulfilled his role without any differences, despite the dual responsibilities of being a two-way player. I have a soft spot for him. If he hadn't been here today, the team would have collapsed much sooner. After the game, Tyler Glasnow calmly and sharply analyzed the responsibility of the team, as if regretting his own absence. And then the abrupt turn was directed at Tanner Scott. He got hit again. Why did he loosen up on the last pitch when he had 2 outs? The mixture of frustration and disappointment in his voice seemed to pierce the entire team. Glasnow continued. In that situation, the game could have ended with 1 hit. That's why a momentary lapse in concentration becomes so notorious. Scott may not have understood the severity of it. His words seemed to represent the joy and disappointment within the team, as Ohtani had already prepared for the extra innings at bat and everything collapsed before their eyes. Furthermore, he did not hide his anxiety about the future. All the pressure will be on Yamamoto tomorrow. And to make matters worse, Rushing is also out of the starting lineup due to injury. Glasnow was increasingly concerned about the situation, which was not only lacking in pitchers but also in the team's defense, which was truly beyond description. After the game, Shohei Ohtani spoke to a sports magazine interview and spoke calmly about his feelings for his teammates. He began by addressing Tyler Glasnow. "I was really relieved to hear that his injury wasn't serious. Glasnow is an indispensable member of this team, and he's a necessary addition to the team for the upcoming battles." His expression showed a strong trust in and in his teammates. Ohtani also spoke about his sudden appearance. "Changes in plans are always difficult. However, throughout my career,